Good morning, everybody. It is Life is Beautiful Day, and we are sitting here doing something we haven't really done before, just like a 20-minute chat about something that's happening, because I guess we're very excited about it, and we haven't really talked about Life is Beautiful. And have a special friend here today, Grant Garcia, man about downtown. Been with me at the Plaza basically since day one, but never been on our podcast. So.
Thanks for having me.
150 episodes. You've never been on the podcast.
Never have, and it's my first podcast. So thanks for having me. Ever.
Well, we're not gonna talk about you or your story, but we could do that.
Save that for later time.
We could do that another time. Grant's been intimately involved in Life is Beautiful with me, and it moving to the Plaza, as is Gary, and we wanted to talk a little bit about Life is Beautiful, the history of it, how it's going as we kick off tonight. You can speak probably the best of that, Gary. You haven't slept probably in a few days. Yep. And how the operations of that have gone. But it's an interesting subject because, I don't know if you even know this, Gary or Grant, but the founder of Life is Beautiful was a gentleman by the name of Rehan.
Okay.
And
I do remember that.
We've come full circle that Life is Beautiful is on our lot at the Plaza. And we'll talk about the differences in Life is Beautiful because it's not the same thing. But in 2012-ish, Rehan approached me. He was working at the Cosmopolitan, and I don't know if I've ever told the story. He had the idea of Life is Beautiful, a festival all about celebrating music, art, food, and he wanted to use our land at the Plaza to do it.
Really?
And it's a crazy story, that. And we had a whole discussion. I probably still have the floor plan somewhere. I saw the whole thing. I don't remember if back then it was called Life is Beautiful or not. I can't remember that part. But he presented it to Poyu Zabdadovich as well. Poyu loved the idea. But we were in limbo at the time. We'd just done a big remodel. We weren't doing very well financially here at the Plaza, so there was a lot of challenges to it. And he later on connected with Tony Shea, who fell in love with the idea, and ultimately did it in East Fremont. And now, fast forward 10 years of Life is Beautiful, it's back at the Plaza.
Right.
So it's kind of crazy that it's happened that way. And I think, you guys might have a different take on what Life is Beautiful means to the community, but it was really an amazing, and I remember Tony talking about this, was the best way to advertise something is to bring people there and give them a great experience. Better than telling people, we sat in a meeting once about what downtown needs to have billboards and radio and tell people that it's cool and it's clean and it's easy to get to, but he was like, why don't we just throw this party and show people all those things, and then they're going to come there and talk about it. And it became basically the best billboard for downtown Las Vegas was Life is Beautiful. And now that it's changed so much, you can see what it meant to people and how involved everyone in the community was in the festival, because now that's moved to the Plaza and it's called the Block Party. It definitely isn't the same thing, but from our perspective, we're thrilled it's here. Do you guys have any early memories of Life is Beautiful? I mean, we used to go to it every year. We did the pizza.
We used to go a lot. I mean, you touched on 2013 when it started, 2012. Shout out to Rehan for putting this together and kicking it off. I mean, I really think that this festival is one of the catalysts for downtown. I think it put a spotlight on downtown. I mean, it was during that time. It was just on the upswing where we started having more residential, more restaurants. A lot of the hotels were being redone, and then this really, I think it was a big catalyst where instead of going to the Strip to get entertainment, now we had a bunch of tourists coming to downtown of a 9-10 block radius to experience music and art and food. Mm-hmm. So plenty memories.
I always say that Tony's biggest contribution in the downtown project was putting downtown on the map from a public perspective. Yeah, right. Forget what they actually did. People were talking about it everywhere. I mean, people were texting me from East Coast, from London. Wow, Tony Shea is making city as a startup. All this is, and arguably, Life is Beautiful was his biggest contribution for all those things, because it brought, I don't even know the numbers, but 50, 60,000 people a day to downtown Las Vegas and gave people a great experience. And as a business, it kept improving for us at the hotels. Like, we all had to learn how to run the businesses with all these different demographics to what we were used to having in downtown. I guess if there was a downside to it, it was never going to last forever in that footprint, because that land had to be developed at some point.
It was an incredible advertisement for downtown, because it really gave people that didn't know about downtown that upfront perspective of being able to walk around downtown, right. Being able to see Fremont East, how small the city blocks were, and that we had a real downtown that never existed before.
Yeah, my first year at Life is Beautiful was the first time I think I experienced anything over past the end of the Fremont zip line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the first time really going.
Was that
into
when we
Free
were
Money's.
sponsors of it with the pizza?
That was with
Or
Pop
you
Up
just
Pizza.
hanging out?
No, that was with Pop Up Pizza.
So if anyone doesn't know, we used to be one of the main sponsors of Life is Beautiful. Every year we were involved in different capacities, but where we found our sweet spot was with Grant, Mikey, selling pizza on the second stage, or what we called the Ambassador Lot. I think it changed names later on, but
Yep.
we had a great F&B, and I think for a couple of years there, we were the highest grossing F&B vendor in the entire footprint. I think we were doing like $30,000 a day in pizza. It was insane.
It
I mean,
was insane the amount of pizzas that we
Yeah.
trucked back and forth
That's
from
what
the
I'm saying.
hotel.
It's
to
not
the
like we made
festival
them
and-
there. We had to
Yeah.
truck them back.
no,
and
yeah,
forth
you were
from
driving
the-
back and forth. We were
Yeah.
like pre-cooking them here and then
Yep.
finishing them off at the
Yeah,
festival, right?
exactly.
It was insane, but it was a lot of fun, and our team pulled together.
All right.
and
Everybody
pulled
from
that
the
off.
team here contributed to sell the pizza over at the festival. So
Yeah.
it was a good team building experience for many
1000%.
years.
Yeah, so we were always there, and I think there was a moment we were always involved in some capacity. But last year we just took a cabana with our team, and I do remember sitting there with one of the original partners of Tony and Fred Mosler, and he looked at me and said, "This will probably never happen again." So maybe he knew more than we did, but he's like, "You'll never have this kind of moment where I think we were watching The Killers on the
Yeah.
first night,
Yeah.
and like there was." I don't know how many people, 40,000 people in the streets of downtown, just looking over the sea of people, and like, he was like, "Yeah, this was a
Pretty magical.
yeah, it was like the end of the era because you knew it couldn't keep happening and there was going to be all the change in the land and so fast forward, Rolling Stones bought it. They knew they couldn't keep it downtown. They knew they couldn't keep it on that site, and it was potentially going to move to the Strip or other locations that they were playing around with.
I thought the festival grounds was going to be the spot that it would eventually wind up at, across from Sahara and the
You
Stratosphere.
could argue that, but I took it personally in the sense of this is a downtown thing. We've all benefited tremendously from it being in downtown. And the new owner is Rolling Stones and Penske Media. They came out here, looked at the site, and this was in February of this year, so it was like it was
wasn't
late.
too long ago.
It wasn't too long ago, and we had nothing. And we have never done an event on this scale. So for us, when they walk around thinking they're going to do Life is Beautiful, we're like, whoa. Obviously, as it's evolved, we realized it couldn't be as big as Life is Beautiful just because of the land, and it doesn't have the different sites. But there's potential to grow that down into the future. So this year, they came up with the block party.
Right.
It's still a massive undertaking. It's a different concept. It's 2 stages, stage A, stage B. Basically, never miss a set, which is cool.
No overlapping.
overlap.
And you can be more specific on the genres, right? So you don't have to have any overlap, and you can be more specific on the talent, which this is. And they've become our partners, and they put this together really in record time. So I mean, a lot of people are like, "Oh, I didn't know about it, or I didn't hear about it," and there's growing pains with moving the sites. And frankly, it's like starting a new event in many ways.
Did you reach out to Life is Beautiful to bring it here? Like how did that process go to where we are today?
So I'd been talking to Life is Beautiful for a few years about the future. We were close to them through mutual friendships directly, but also just through sponsoring them. So we talked about ideas of where does this thing go in the future if the land's always not available down there in East Fremont. And then our chairman is very friendly with the chairman of Penske Media, and they connected and ended up coming out here together, and that's where the magic happened. It was a meeting again.
Quickly snowballed into
Yeah.
a massive festival on our land.
And to be fair, we did the Vans Warped Tour about 2008, and ever since then, I've seen 10,000 people on our parking lot, and I was like, okay. But I've never been able to recreate it, never done it again.
I didn't know that you guys had Vans Warped Tour in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, but we didn't do anything like
Okay.
what we're doing now.
Yeah.
There was no production. We didn't bury the power poles. We didn't resurface everything. We didn't have all the
We didn't have a huge
elements that
arena.
they have. We didn't have the arena that we had to move. And with all due respect to the Plaza wasn't what it is today. So closing down access points was like, oh, who cares?
Right.
Today we've got an entire logistical operation that you've overseen. But we had the Vans Warped Tour, and ever since then I've wanted to do things out there. We did the rodeo arena,
Right.
but I've always thought, like, could we do other music elements or events? Could we do something with the rodeo? This is proof. This is a great template of how it can be done, and we'll learn from this. I think a few people in the company are like, Jonathan, are you insane? Why did you do this to us? It's a huge undertaking. We as a company have never done anything like this on this scale, but that's our job. It's our job to push, to do things, to push the envelope, to try to do things that are more difficult. And if we fail, we'll learn from it. And if we succeed, we'll be able to do it
We're
even
off to the
bigger and
races.
better in the future. And maybe there's a way for your sake and sanity we can do this where we don't have to close the whole garage. I mean, talk about what we're doing here, like logistically.
Yeah, I was going to
Okay,
say it's going to be
so-
worth talking about what it took, start to finish.
Right.
Just
So for
to
12
get to here.
for 12 hours starting today, Friday and Saturday, all of Main Street's going to be closed off from virtually where Pink Box is all the way down to where the City Hall garage is, right past our footprint. All that's going to be closed for vehicles and everything else. So not just as our, because we've had like the largest parking in downtown, right? So that whole surface lot is completely closed. Our garage is also closed. You know, just for safety reasons, we have to have that area closed off too. And now we are in the process of shuttling all of our hotel guests from here over to, we partnered with the city to get some parking spaces over there and a few other places. So we're now shuttling all of our guests from the hotel over to the city parking garage 24 hours a day, nonstop, just to make sure that they have parking. All of our team members, so there's 550 team members who are all working day and night to make this festival possible inside the plaza, shuttling them back and forth, and it's exciting. It's exciting to see, you know, a parking lot turn into what it was. Because even 3-4 days ago, if you drove by there, you were like, "There's going to be a festival here next week."
No
Like
ways.
this makes no sense to me. And then all of a sudden, the stage comes up and everybody
It's a
pulls
massive
together.
stage. It's
Yeah,
a
it
massive
was-
stage. And I love the energy of our team when we're thrown into these situations where everyone pulls together. You know, we're a small team. We've never done things on this scale. But to see our team, and obviously we have the assistance of Life is Beautiful, who's done 10 years of festivals, but our team operating this, we've got all our food and beverage, we've got the pool parties each day, we got the DJs from the festival playing at the pool, we got the shuttles that you're managing, all the additional
different departments working in other
communication.
departments just to come together and pull this off.
It's a massive undertaking, but as a group, I think that's what makes us better, is this idea that we can take on these things. And Grant helped bury the power poles. We had these old wooden power poles with, what are they called, the wires that go across the power
Overhead
poles?
line, like just power lines.
Overhead power lines that you don't see in many places,
Yeah.
but you do in downtown Las Vegas. And we had to bury those in like 3 months. It's probably a year project normally. We
It was
did
a massive project to do that.
we did it.
Um,
We did it quickly.
yeah.
So I got a question for both of you guys, since you've spent so much time in downtown. How important is keeping Life is Beautiful in downtown? So for both of you guys, because you guys have different aspects of working downtown and experiencing downtown.
Well, I think we got to be clear though. This isn't Life is Beautiful.
Right.
This
the
is a
block
version
party.
of Life is Beautiful. This is the Life is Beautiful block party. It's not what it was, and maybe it can grow back to what it was in different forms and different setups. But for what it is this year, I think obviously it's a learning process. It's important, just perception-wise. It's another. It's always this weekend or the weekend before, the last 2 weekends in September. And just keeping that continuity and keeping the brand alive, I think, was important. A lot of festivals that go away never make it back.
Right.
So we'll see in terms of, I think the jury's out. Can I answer your question in a week? Can we come back and answer
Yeah,
that question?
I think in
like,
about
terms
2-3
of
weeks we'll do a post
a
on
recap?
for Life is Beautiful.
I think from our internal perspective, this is wonderful.
Right.
Again, stressful, it's difficult, but it's a great challenge for us to undertake to show the capabilities of this site. This could become its own venue in the future with, when you see the production and the scale of this stage, you've got Justice, LCD Sound System, Jungle, Peggy Goo, some of the biggest names in the world in that genre. It's going to be an unbelievable experience. And so when we can show that to people, of course, the Fremont Pharaoh Fireworks is doing a fireworks show each night.
Of course you
Johnny
do
Rockets.
fireworks. Yeah,
Johnny
Johnny
Rockets.
Rockets.
We'll have a great fireworks show each night. And I think you'll see that this place shows incredibly. So from our perspective, great. In terms of what does it mean for the community and Life is Beautiful, I think a lot of people still want to see what this is.
Yeah.
The jury's out, right? And I think we, I don't know, do you have a different take? You think it's a guaranteed, had to be down here? I mean, that was when I heard Life is Beautiful was leaving, I was like, no, it has to stay.
Yeah.
Now it's a totally different version, different event, what it means to the
I mean,
community.
I think selfishly, as a downtowner, you want to have Life is Beautiful here in whatever way, shape, or form it is, just because we feel like it's our own, because we've been there since the inception. But you're right. I think the jury's out. We'll see how this weekend goes. I think internally for us in the hotel, it's just a huge team building, coordination, and bonding to see
Right.
what we can execute. It, like I said, just stuff that you're doing, Gary, and the coordination that it took to do that, and then seeing how Life is Beautiful's coordination literally starting on Tuesday to where it is today, 3 days later. I mean, people are gonna freak when they see the time lapse videos and what
Right.
that looks like and what we did.
And remember, we don't own Life is Beautiful, right? So there'll be a debrief on their end too to see what it is. Make no mistake about it. It's easy to hate. It's easy. It's not Life is Beautiful. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. All those people are still asking for free tickets.
Right.
Yeah.
They're still coming around. You know.
I'll say Life is Beautiful has their own built-in fans. They have people that just because it's Life is Beautiful,
That's
they're
right. That's true.
excited to
They
come
want
downtown.
that experience.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So they, I think if it did move to the Strip, you probably would have lost those people because there was a certain culture of being downtown and where it was located.
Yeah. And it's difficult because they had that period of uncertainty. No
Yeah.
one knew who the new owners were, what had happened to it. Was it coming back? Wasn't it coming back? Silence. And then suddenly in May, a new lineup for an entirely new concept dropped. So I think there's an unwinding of this whole thing that needs to then go through. And I think in a couple of weeks, we'll be able to come back and say where they stand, where we stand. It'll be a much easier
On top of that, I
conversation.
can say the city was very, I guess, adamant, or they really wanted to see that
That's right.
festival happen again, even though it was moving outside of, city footprint and,
Yeah.
revenue from cleanup and all that stuff. They still wanted that festival here.
It's amazing the city's okay with it because we're going to be shooting off fireworks at 1:30 in the morning, right?
Not that late, 12.
12 o'clock?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have fireworks and,
But everyone's like, it's going to be so loud. I was like, hey, wait till you hear Peggy Goo at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that's going to be the show. So it's exciting. It's fun. I think you and your team and the hotel team here have done our security team have done an incredible job to take us to this point. Now the hard work really begins when we're expecting 10,000 people.
Right.
Could be a little more, a little less. It's going to be fascinating
and
to
throughout
see
the
how
whole
that.
night, right? Because the festival's going to end 2,
Yeah.
3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So then that's when this property's going to be activated. And 3, 4 o'clock in the morning is not typically our
Yeah.
peak season, right? So
Oscars has a record number of reservations, like New Year's Eve and Oscars on Saturday night. So I don't know
is
if that's festival
unbelievable.
goers, if
Yeah.
that's just people coming down here. We'll see. But it's gonna be a heck of a party
Yeah.
for the next 72 hours.
what are you most looking forward to in the next 9 hours? By the time we release
I
this,
think
we're
seeing
9
the
hours
gates
away.
open, walking out there and seeing like this is our land that we've been trying to figure out what to do with for the last few years, and now we have a real template of what could be.
Right.
I'm not saying it's the future, but it's what could be. You can show the potential of it. So for me, it's that, just seeing people exploring this site and enjoying it. I'm really looking forward to Sunday when we can say everything moved by smoothly. Coffee on Sunday morning saying like, phew, it was a success.
That was great.
What about you, Grant? What are you most looking forward to?
Same. I think it's the activation, walking through the gates. I walk the site every day, and I can see how it's advanced in the last, 72 hours. But to see it at night with the full experience, the experiential stuff, the lighting, the sound, the food, the sponsor tents, everything activated, it's, remembering it from a south parking lot with the
Right.
rodeo arena in the middle of it to being a full-blown music festival, it's like we're going to be in another world. So I'm really looking forward
And
to
if you're
that.
listening, Gary has a spare VIP ticket and want to come with Gary as his date. That's what he's looking forward to.
We'll give the cell phone number.
Oh yeah,
His
cell phone number in the
It's-
notes at the end
Hey,
on social
that's-
media.
Hold on, let me find it. It's 646. Yeah, I'm most looking forward to having, thousands of people coming back into this property.
Yeah.
At night, in the morning. I'd like to see this place be full. We have Sand Dollar is going to be having nightlife all night long until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. We've got 2 pool parties that are going to be happening. So I'm just excited to see what this place looks like at 3 o'clock in the morning tonight and Saturday night.
That's right.
'Cause it's going to be rocking.
Well, good luck to
like
good
never
luck to all of
before,
us.
right?
Right.
Good luck to all of us, and stay tuned for the recap coming up in a couple of weeks.
All right.
Good work, guys. Let's
Thanks
have
for
some
having
fun.
me.
Let's do it. Life is beautiful.